Raise your vibration and re-engage with life. Find balance and reconnect with joy. Your vehicle is balancing the wheel, and we're here to support you in becoming more happier, healthier, and successful. wheelofwellbeing.com or drsadigh.com.
Do you have viruses or malware warnings? Have a problem with your computer and need help? 24 hours, 7 days. Computer Emergency Services. Convenience and savings at your fingertips. Download our free app and keep in touch.
Blessings and greetings. Hoping that you're starting your day beautifully and now you're ready to just delve in some more of the topics that we discuss in order to bring more awareness to our emotional state and how these emotions are affecting our lives. Actually, the reactions that we have to situations are the results of what we have recorded inside, and then these recordings play back through situations and give us those outcomes. So today, one more time, we are reviewing hatred and anger. We started this in our last talk, and today I would like to just give a little bit more detailed information about this process of hatred, anger, which comes first, which is bigger, which is smaller. So these are things that I was asked over the last couple of days after our last program, and I would like to address this today. So let's start with the difference between anger and hatred. Well, obviously we all know what anger is. You know, anger is just our burst of energy in a hard and harsh way towards something that's frustrating, something that is bothering us, something that is denying us or even threatens us. So anger is not as complicated as hatred, because anger is short term. Anger is the duration of anger is not that long. You know, when you get angry, this anger is momentarily. You may blow up. It's like a volcano that erupts, and then after it erupts, then it settles down and goes back to where it was. So when we get angry, we just showing a certain reaction in a loud and harsh way, but then eventually once things settle down, we can go back to our situation and not holding grudges necessarily. But then there is another difference. You know, when you are angry, it doesn't mean that you really don't love that person. If you're having a fight with your significant other, you may be angry for what they have done. You may be angry about their behavior, but it doesn't mean that you don't care for them. It doesn't mean that you love them. Sometimes too much love and too much care creates anger. Since you see that this is not seen or it's not reciprocated. So anger is just a burst of energy that the duration of it is not long, and then your feelings are not completely cut off from that other person or the situation. And we still have a lot of concerns and conscious care about the other person or the situation. So that's a huge difference. But when we go to hatred, we see that hatred has the opposite effects. You know, it's much longer. When you start hating someone, it's not going to go away very soon. Why? Because it has not come together in just one moment. It's generally many different moments, many different situations, many of the past conditions that are accumulated and have created this situation right now that we are affected and we are showing some sort of a resentment or withholding of feelings from somebody else. So you can see that through hatred, all of our feelings for this other person or this entity is completely gone. We don't have much empathy for the other person. We are not sharing any of our feelings with this person. We're cutting off. We're just in that survival mode that we are threatened. So hatred has roots in fear, and this fear of annihilation, the fear of humiliation, the fear of being put down, the fear of not being accepted, they are big fears that altogether, when it is repeated on and on and on, then this sensation of defensiveness becomes more dominant and dominant, and we turn into this hating person. Now, also, I can add to this that regretfully, both anger and hatred are learned behaviors. Why? Because as children, we are not angry. As children, generally speaking, we are cared by caregivers, and as long as our needs are taken care of, we may be needy, we may cry for something because our body, our survival mechanism is calling for attention and some sort of a resource that can sustain us. However, that is not anger. That reaction is not anger. But when we grow up a little bit and we see how our family members, how our parents, how our siblings are acting out when they want something or when they want to bring a point across, and we see the tonality, we see that affect of anger in our surrounding, then we start learning that this is helpful, that I can get my stuff through showing anger and throwing a tantrum. So then anger becomes a tool. Anger becomes a way that we can get what we want to get and go through this process of showing up as this violent or vicious person in order to intimidate others to give us what we hope to have. So you see, that's a tool. Now, hatred is not only learning from the environment, also unfortunately comes from the society and the norms and the ways that the thinking of the community is affecting us. Besides all of these other ways that we are disconnected and hurt from a situation or someone. So let's talk about this a little bit further. Imagine that as a child, you were abandoned, or somebody who has been abandoned as a child. So there is this disconnection that is horrible, that if your father has left and has not called back and has not come to get you and has not visited you for several years, or your mom or anybody close to you, then there is a sense of hatred that is building up towards this person. However, at the same time, there is a dynamic of love also, since as an individual, we are loving our parents if they have not really shown us that harm. So in this case, there is some harm done, but then there has been disconnection. The harm has not been physical. There is enough reason that some degree of love still is there for this father or mother. So the confusion becomes that this love-hate relationship is stuck in us, and since we cannot do much with it about our father, so the hatred that is inside of us because of his abandoning, now it's projected to other people. So now the hatred that I have for my father, because I don't want to verbalize it, I'm a bad person. The issue is bad. If we're seeing as bad, and then we don't want to be bad. So if I hate my father, I'm a bad person. And since I don't want to be a bad person, however, I still have this hatred inside of me, what would happen? I automatically project it onto other things, which now I have learned from my community that, I don't know, we don't like Jews or blacks or other ethnicities or other races or religions or any other way that the dynamic of the society is driving us towards. So you can see that easily what hatred is inside of me about some personal issues can become a hatred towards other people, other communities, and other entities. That's why hatred is such a tricky dynamic. It is our own denial of hate that sometimes becomes hateful in the outside world. This is really, really important to realize, because by realizing it, we stop ourselves. We can do things that this hatred is not continuously going. We can bring more love and attention to it. So there are a few ways that we can, help ourselves by the negative effects of hatred and anger. And sometimes it's the best is to find out what is the anger about, right? If I don't like a group of people, or I don't really care for a certain person in my life, I really want to delve in a little bit deeper to understand what is it that is angering me towards this person, the frustrations, where are they coming from? Why when I see this person, I clench, I cannot move, I freeze? Well, these are important information that you can obtain from yourself. Start pondering, looking into your affect more, and figure out what is bothering you about this person. The second part is, when you're bothered, why don't you take a time out? Just relax a little bit, take your mind off of it for a few minutes or a few hours, and just then go back to it. Because at that moment that you're hot and you're wired and you're affected, your decisions are not going to be very good. You're not very clear about what's going on. So then you can go back to that idea of why this person is affecting me so badly. So that time is needed. Then start understanding your boundaries. Boundaries are really important. We have discussed them in several of our talks. And boundaries are, to repeat, the distance between you and I, where I finish and where you start. So when we are understanding that this other person is in this situation that creates the hatred in me, well, we can understand that I'm not this person. I don't have to be this person. I don't have to really be affected by this person if they're crossing boundaries. And then if I want to be revengeful, isn't that crossing boundaries? If I would like to keep myself separate, that's fine. But the moment that I'm thinking of revenge towards somebody that I hate, now I'm becoming the aggressor. Now I'm becoming the person who crosses the boundaries and is forging into this person or entity. Well, restraining yourself is important, but how? Just taking care of yourself, understanding that this is me and this is the other person. They are negatively affected through issues in their lives. Do not judge, them. And that's the key word in this boundary issue. With the moment that we judge them, we give ourselves the right to be the punisher. We subconsciously, we decide to be punitive and take away something from the person or harm them in a certain way. And that's what happens. And that's why, especially in marriages, in a committed relationship, the biggest problem comes when we don't understand these boundaries, and the frustrations that a partner is bringing towards us is responded by or reacted by our own anger and intrusiveness towards the other person. And then guess what happens? It escalates. There is a war. Okay? And since we're talking about the war, let's understand that hatred has been indoctrinated inside of us in case of war. When we have enemies, we are using that hatred, or the community or society is using that hatred towards the enemy, because now that becomes the common denominator, common power against whatever that we don't like. So the hatred is used somehow towards our enemies. And imagine now in relationship, if now this hatred is going to be used because you see your partner as an enemy, then you can see where we're going with that relationship. Venting to friends and counselors are really important. If issues are frustrating us, we need to have a chance, time, understanding that We need to be heard. We cannot just compile all of this information inside of us over time and then hope that they're going to go away. I'm sorry, they're not going to go anywhere. They're just getting accumulated inside of you, and then that's where hatred is taking over, and then it's not the anger that is just bursting out. Now you're sitting with a lot of negative energy. And again, we need to release this not only through talk and conversation, physical exercises, meditation, kind of work that physically, physiologically we're able to release our negativity and toxic energy that is accumulated inside of us. So in other words, unlearning what we have learned about anger and hatred is really important. We have created programs, and these programs are functioning, and once we are realizing that these programs are not appropriate for today, where I am, who I am, and this time of my life, then you can decide to break down the hatred into anger and then release it all together. So in summary, anger is learned. Frustrations are creating anger. They're slow burns that eventually they become like a boil to anger, and then they overload and they overwhelm us, and then they just get poured out of us in a way. And then this unresolved anger accumulates and becomes hatred, and the way that we show up in life. So if we would like to be effective, the first thing is to deal with frustrations. And these frustrations can be dealt with changing your environment, using creative arts in processing this negative energy, negotiating the situation inside of your head, using relaxation techniques and breathing. That's something that I have been hoping that I've made the point by now, that breathing from your nose into your belly and other kinds of breathings that you can find in Wheel of Well-Being and Balancing the Wheel, they can be helpful. Breathing is really important. And last is rethinking the situation. Feeling what you're feeling, thinking about what's happening, and then acting. Once you can do all of this, you're in a good direction, and I'm wishing you all the best in this way. My book, Balancing the Wheel, is in audio and print, and you're more than welcome to use it. It's a year of working on yourself, and I suggest highly that you can take a look at different chapters of this online or on Amazon and see what it has for you, because it has a lot of ways, tools that you can substitute. Instead of being angry and hating, you can use these tools to release. Also in the Wheel of Well-Being, as you know, we have a Wheel Select program which requires your commitment. We are here, me and Coach Bonnie, we are the creators, founders of Wheel of Well-Being, and our intention and attention in life, lovingly, is to bring forward information that is useful in creating more happiness, health, and success in your life. This is our mission, and I'm here to just do that anytime that I'm here with you. You're more than welcome to be in touch through different medias and ways that we are available to you. And our Instagram page is getting even more active as of next month. I'm adding a Persian Instagram page, which is going to be directed to people who are not fluent in English and speak Farsi. So thank you so much for your attention. Looking forward to our next talk, which is, I can tell you what it's about. It's going to be about nightmares. And we want the nightmares to go away, so the anger doesn't frustrate you even in your sleep. Have a blessed day. A healthy mind requires balance, and balancing the wheel is your guide to finding more happiness, healthier lifestyle, and a successful practice in whatever you do. I'm Dr. Daniel Sadigh, author of Balancing the Wheel, and you can find it on Amazon under balancingthewheel.com/book or in the Audibles in audiobooks.com.
Welcome to Togetherness Media, your choice for inspiration and information. We start each day with motivational music and speech. Our morning program runs from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and will set the tone for the best day possible. Evolution, different psychologists talking about the link between evolution and psychology. Comedy and stand-up, we need to laugh, right? Trending and world news daily at noon. Hello Hollywood Daily Show is a celebrity and entertainment news show that spices up the afternoon with hot Hollywood news, new movies, hit music, fashion, and red carpet events. We have lots of educational programs, psychology, neuroscience, brain functions, secrets of love and play, yes, it's about sex, medical and health news, technology and computer sciences, English language coaching, new research, blogs, and more. Our Success Spotlight segment delivers to the forefront a wide array of different cutting-edge global and worldwide businesses. Our evening program will be with you as you wind down your day. We will cover a variety of hot topics, including current world events, real estate, financial and investment news, home and hearth, food, weather, games, quotes, and much more. We will illuminate some of the most transformative coaches in the industry as we bring you material designed to guide you to the expression of your highest potential. LoveWire delivers love songs, love quotes, and love stories. Share your love stories. And remember, every Friday and Saturday night, we have DJs and music. Let's dance. 24 hours, 7 days a week with your new favorite media, Togetherness Media. Visit our website and subscribe for free. Download our app on the App Store on Apple and Android. We stand strong together with Togetherness Media.